Now imagine a child, barely 10 years old, sweeping the floor at a restaurant, toiling away in the dead of night. What image comes to your mind? Or rather, where do you picture this happening? In the United States of America? Because that's where this report comes from. Two 10-year-olds were found working in a McDonald's franchise. 10-year-olds were found cleaning the store, operating cash registers and serving food, sometimes as late as 2 a.m. It's the latest child labor abuse scandal coming out of America. A few days back, we told you how American states are loosening child labor laws. They're making it easier for companies to employ children and pay them less. And incidents like this are the reason why. US companies are increasingly violating child labor laws, and state governments are making it easier for them to do so. They're trying to protect companies from child labor fines. This story about the 10-year-olds comes from the state of Kentucky. A McDonald's franchisee there was found violating a host of child labor laws, and they weren't the only ones. More than 300 children were being exploited by just 3 firms here. All of them were McDonald's franchisees. They let minors operate machinery prohibited for children. They had them work beyond permissible hours, sometimes even during school hours. This violates all American federal laws about employing children. The laws clearly state that work must be permitted outside of school hours. Work must be performed, rather, outside of school hours, and children cannot work more than 3 hours on a school day. They cannot work more than 18 hours in total during a school week. The US Labor Department came out with a statement. A local official said, and I'm quoting, "Too often employers fail to follow the child labor laws that protect young workers. Under no circumstances should there ever be a 10-year-old child working in a fast food kitchen around hot grills, ovens, and deep fryers." And what are the consequences for such employers? Well, fines usually. In this case, the fine was hefty. The 3 McDonald's franchisees have to pay over $212,000. The firm employing the 10-year-olds will pay about $40,000. If they pay, that is. Because the franchisee is refuting the charges. It says the 10-year-olds were the children of a night manager, and that their parent brought them to work without informing the management, which does not really explain all the other child labor violations, more than 300, or the fact that these children were allowed to operate dangerous equipment. The Department of Labor official has said further, and I quote, "We are seeing an increase in federal child labor violations, including allowing minors to operate equipment or handle types of work that endangers them or employs them for more hours or later in the day than federal law allows." Let me show you some numbers. In 2022, the number of children working hazardous jobs went up by 26%. Illegal instances of employing minors was up by 37%. Penalties over child labor went up by 29%. So basically, child labor violations are on the rise in America. Companies are exploiting children. What's their excuse? Labor shortage. US companies cannot find enough cheap labor, so they're going after children. It's the same story across states and industries, and firms continue to break the law. The worst part is that some states are making it easier for companies to get away with all of this. And let me repeat, all of this is happening in the US. And it's not like child labor is unique to America. It's most likely worse in many other countries. But for a country that loves to lecture others on human rights and child rights and all kinds of rights, America is living in a glass house.